Number 1 gave you a graph, but did you even need it? No. What could you have used? What could you have used? Stat. Okay, so you go to stat, clear everything out, and you could have put in your x's, so -3 and 5, and then 1 and 8. So -3 goes with 1, 5 goes with 8. Stat calc option 4 for linear. The slope is 0.875. And then you just change that to a fraction. So 0.875 math fraction enter, which is 7/8. Now you could have graphed it and then did rise over run, which would give you 7/8. Yes? All right, moving on. Number 2. It says, what is the slope? What 2 different ways could you have done this? Come on, guys, quick. Stat or slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It doesn't matter which way you do it. If you're going to do stat, because it's linear, you don't have to put in all the points because it's telling you it's linear. So -7, -2, 9, and 1. Stat calc option 4. The slope is -1.6. Again, you're going to need to change that to a fraction. So you go to your home screen, type it in, hit math, fraction, enter, and it's -8/5. Same thing with number 3. Do I need to go show y'all how to do stat? Are y'all good? Okay, the answer was what? A, I believe. If you use slope formula, it's 17 minus -11 over -9 minus 5. Same thing for number 4, 12 minus 7 over -39 minus 26. I believe it was F. Stat or slope formula on those. Okay, this one. You don't even have to really read the question. All you got to do is really read what is it asking me for, and it asks for the rate of change. What does rate of change really mean? What's the slope? So the first few questions of this whole paper have been about slope. You could have done rise over run. I know a lot of you are making mistakes and doing run over rise. Your rise has to go on top. So if I chose to use this dot and I rise all the way up to this dot, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is the rise because it's going up or down. And then the run goes left or right. So this is 9 plus 3, which is 12, I believe. And it's going down, so it's negative, and then I simplify to -5/6, which is D. Could you have also used stat? Yes, you would just have to write down the 2 coordinates. Yes? Everybody good? All right, number 6, what did it ask for? Rate of change, which really means slope. So again, the first 6 questions on this whole paper have been about slope. It's just the different ways that they can ask it. So again, I'm going to go to stat edit. I do not have to put in the whole table because it's telling me it's linear, meaning it doesn't matter which 2 points you use, you're going to get the same answer. So I'm only going to put in the first 2. Stat calc, option 4, and the answer is 8. And then there would be boxes below that you would just put them in. Okay? Now on this one, it asks for the slope and the y-intercept. Everybody look right here. It gave you the coordinates. If I was you, I would use stat because it is always going to be the safest way to go. And if you're getting confused putting in stat, just make a table out of those coordinates and it tells you basically how to put them in. So stat edit, -7 and 7, -4 and 6, stat calc option, stat calc option 4, and the slope, something crazy, but the y-intercept is 1. So the y-intercept is +1, so I could just mark off A and C, and then all I have to do is see which one of these is going to give me that. Y'all do understand that if the numerator is bigger than the denominator, that's over 1, and this is not over 1, so it has to be B. But you could just go change that to a decimal and see which one matches. But y'all remember, if it's an improper fraction, it's greater than 1. So you know it's not that one, okay? All right, this one. Everybody highlight or circle the word correlation coefficient. This is on your test tomorrow. If it says correlation coefficient, this is where you have to turn your diagnostics on. And you're looking for the R. Bless you. Remember, closer to 1 is strong. The further away from 1 is weak. Does everybody remember this? Okay, so I'm going to go to diagnostics on by turning on my second catalog. And if y'all want, turn it on now and leave it on for the test tomorrow. So I go to second 0. I go down to diagnostics on, which I already did all this, so it's on. And if y'all need to see me do it, I will do it. You're just going to hold the down arrow until you get to diagnostics on. It takes a while. Right here, I hit enter and then hit enter again until it says done, and then it's on. Then you go to stat edit. Now, do you have to put in the full table? Yes, this is not a linear situation, so it needs every single point put in, which you'll see I already put it in. And then I'm going to go to stat calc. It's still, we're looking for a linear relationship. It is not linear. Just what is the type of linear relationship? So option 4. And I am looking at the correlation coefficient, which is the R, not the R squared. So everybody look at it. Is it negative or positive? It's positive. Is it closer to 1 or further away to 1? Closer to 1 or closer to 0? It's closer to 0. That is a weak positive. It's positive because there's no negative sign, but it is a weak positive. Any questions on that? It is on the test tomorrow. There is one question on the test tomorrow about causation. So let's talk about causation. Causation means it will cause it to happen. If I do X, this will happen. Make sense? No matter what. It's not a correlation. A correlation means it probably will happen. It's related. Like if I study for my test, I'm probably going to get what? A better grade. That's correlation. That doesn't mean if I study for my test, I'm absolutely going to make 100. It's just related. Causation means if I do this something, it will 100% cause this. Does everybody understand causation? All right, so number 9, which situation shows causation? A, when the number of people in a bus increase, the number of animals in a zoo increase. That has nothing to do with anything. B, when the number of hours worked each week by an hourly employee decreases, the amount of money earned by the employee will decrease. So if an hourly employee doesn't work as much, will they automatically make less money? Yes, that is causation. C said when the amount of discount for a sale increases, the number of items sold during the sale decreases. No. When the number of bike trails in a city decreases, the amount of rainfall. That doesn't even have anything to do with it. All right, turn the page. A few more causation examples. Number 10. Which is best showing causation? F, the length of a rectangle affects the width. Not at all. The length of a rectangle can be anything. You can have a super long length and a tiny little width. Okay? No. G, the amount of time a cell phone is used affects the charge of its battery. The longer you use a cell phone, what's going to happen? The battery will go down. So yes, that is causation. Number 11. Which situation does not show causation? When the student population at a school increases, the number of teachers would increase. That shows causation. So I'm going to put a check because it shows it. B, when the amount of sugar in a quart of apple juice is reduced, there are fewer calories in each serving. That is absolutely going to happen. C, when there are more workers on a project, the project will be completed in less time. That's causation. D, when there is more protein in an athlete's diet, the athlete will score more points in a game. No, not causation. Number 12. Here is a graph from the year 2000 to 2010. If the trend shown in the graph continues, they want us to make a prediction. What will be the population in 2015? So here is 2002, 2004, 6. The graph isn't there. So I need to make an equation and then use it. How can I make an equation out of this? Where can I go? How? Stat. So I'm going to make an equation with stat. So I'm going to go to stat, edit. Wait, that's the list I used. I don't want to have to redo that. Stat, edit. Okay, I'm going to put in 0 and 10 for my x's. My y's are 193 matches with 0 and 250 with 10. Stat calc, option 4. My equation is y equals 5.7x plus 193. Look at the r. What is it? A perfect 1. Why? Because it is a perfect straight line. Okay? All right. Now, we got to figure out, what does y represent? The population in thousands. What does x represent? Years since 2000. So what are we asking a question about? What will the population of Webb County be in 2015? How many years since 2000 is 2015? 15 years. So am I going to plug in for y or x? X. So I'm going to do 5.7 times 15 plus 193. And the answer is 278.5. And if you look over here, it says it's in thousands. So which one of those would be the answer? G. Any questions on using an equation to make a prediction? You have to write the equation first with stat and then use it to make that prediction. Number 13. What is an equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through these points? What would y'all use? I would use stat. I wouldn't even try to solve this on my own. So stat, edit. Oh. Negative 26 is my x, 39 is my x, negative 11 and 34. Stat calc. Y equals, which I'm going to write this down, positive 0.69x plus 7. So I can go ahead and mark out the minus 7s. And then the only thing that's left is a negative 9/13 or a positive 9/13. And this is what? Positive. So it has to be C. Everybody good? Now the next one you're going to have to solve. So let's read it. What is the equation in slope-intercept form of a line that passes through this point and is parallel to this? What do we know about parallel? Their slopes are the same. So what is the slope of this line? So what is the slope of my new line? All right, so my slope is 3.2, but I need an equation, so I need a slope and a y-intercept. So I'm going to have to solve for the y-intercept, yes? So I'm going to write my equation. I'm just going to come up here to show my work because I have room. Y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to plug in for y. What am I going to plug in? 0 equals, what's my m? Times x, which is negative 3 plus b. And I'm just going to solve. So 3.2 times negative 3. And then to get rid of it, I'm going to add 9.6, yes? So what is my b? 9.6. So my equation would be y equals 3.2x plus 9.6. Okay, number 15. What is the equation in slope-intercept form of the line that crosses the x-axis at 36 and is perpendicular? Oh, and it didn't copy. Yeah, we can't do that one. Let me see if I can look it up. I didn't even. Should have said y equals negative 4/9 x plus 5. So it wants an equation that is perpendicular. The first thing I'm going to do is do what to the slope? If it's perpendicular, the slope is opposite reciprocal. So I take this negative off, I flip it over, and it becomes what? Positive 9/4. So what can I mark out right away? It's just totally wrong. A and B. Now, we need to come up with a point because they didn't give us one. So let's think. What is the equation slope-intercept form of the line that crosses the x-axis at 36? So everybody look. If I have a graph and it crosses the x-axis at the 36, yes? You can pick any point on that line to use. So do y'all agree it's going to have a point at 36, 0? You'll see what I'm saying? So my point is at 36, 0. So I'm going to write my equation, y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to plug in 0 for y, 9/4 for m, for x I'm going to plug in 36 plus b. And 9/4 times 36 is 81. So if I move this 81 to the left, it's going to be what? Positive 81 or negative 81? Negative 81. So the answer is D. Do y'all see how you had to come up with a point that would fall on that line? So if you just sketch a little graph, you'll see how to come up. You could have done 36-1, 36-2, and you would have gotten the same answer. Okay? All right, number 16. What is the equation in slope-intercept form of a line that crosses the x-axis at 4 and is perpendicular? So the same thing. If it's perpendicular, the slope is going to do what? Be opposite. Okay, so what could I mark off? F. What else? And G. Now I've got to figure out where would it be the y-intercept. So the slope is 3/2. If it crosses the x-axis at 4, isn't there a point at 4, 0? Okay, so my point is at 4, 0. So I'm going to do y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to plug in 0 equals 3/2 times x, which is 4, plus b. So 0 equals 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. If I move this 6 over, what's it going to become? Negative 6. So the answer is J. Do you have any questions on those? Are y'all good with how I came up with the point? Okay. Number 17. They graphed this equation. Does everybody see it's graphed? But then they said, which ordered pair would be a solution if you change the equal sign to a what? Greater than. But is everything else the same? The slope and the y-intercept the same? Okay, would this line be solid or dashed? So I'm just going to put like dashes through it so we all know it's dashed. Which way would I shade for greater than? Up. Greater than means go to the sun. So which of these dots would be a solution? Now, could you have also just plugged them in for x and y? Yeah, that just takes a lot of work, and I don't want to do that. So negative 8, 8. Here's negative 8, 8 up here. Is that going to be part of it? Yeah. So, but let's look. 6, negative 5 would not be a solution because it falls on the dashed line. 4, negative 6 would not be a solution because it's below down here. And same thing for that one. But again, you could have just plugged those in for x and y and saw which one was true. So either way. Number 18. Which graph best represents this inequality? Well, let's talk about it. The first thing I see is that there is an or equal to, yes? Or equals to means solid line. So what could I get rid of? G and J. Okay, now, less than. Which way would I shade for less than? Down to the ground, so the answer was F. Number 19. Which graph best represents the solution set of this? Okay, well, let's stop and talk about it. Would this be a dashed or solid line? Dash. So what can I get rid of? A and B. And greater than. Would I shade down to the ground or up to the sky? Okay. Greater than. Up to the sky. So everybody look. Which way is this being shaded? If I go like this, I'm going what? Down to the ground. If I go like this from the line, which way am I going? Up to the sky. Do y'all understand the difference? Don't think about left or right. Think about, can I get up to the sky? There's no way if I go like this, I could get up to the sky. I'm going to run into the line. Make sense? But right here, if I start at the line, I can get up to the sky. All right, number 20. Which coordinate pair is a solution? You had two options. You could go graph it and see, or you could plug in. Which way would y'all want to do it? Somebody tell me, which way do you like? Huh? Not plugging in? Okay, so I would have to graph it. So my slope is what? -6/1. My B is what? Come on, guys, wake up. What did I do right here? I rearranged it. All I did was swap their spots so that I could see the slope and the y-intercept. So my y-intercept is at 1. My rise is down 6, right 1. Down 6, right 1, up 6, left 1. This would be a dashed line. And since it's less than, would I shade up to the sky or down to the ground? Can I get down to the ground if going this way? No. Can I get it going this way? Yes. So everything over here. So 1, 0 is not part of it. 1, -1 is not part of it. 0, 1, it's on the line. Is it part of it? No, because the line is dashed. And -1, 1. Is that part of that shaded area? Now, let's stop and check it. Because if this is a CBA, I'd be checking it. And I would say, is 1 less than 1 minus 6 times x? Is 1 less than, and I'll put it in my calculator so I don't mess up, 1 minus 6 times -1. Is 1 less than 7? Yes, so I got it right. Okay, are there any questions at all over this review? What your job is tonight is to just, if there's anything you struggled with, you need to go over this tonight. Yes? Everybody understand?